Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our today's compact webinar from the Minibeer Intech Academy. My name is Michael Meyer, and usually I'm training manager at Minibeer Intech, but no worries, I'm not your trainer, but the host of today's session. And in my role as a host, I would like to introduce a few little details to make sure you can enjoy today's webinar the best possible. First of all, I guess it's already obvious, the young man on the camera is not Holger Nichelmann, which we have promised during our invitation. Unfortunately, Holger is sick for today, couldn't join our presentation, and the usual safety reasons, so I guess we couldn't take any speaker being less professional than Holger, so we took Yannick and just made sure to get the best presenter and speaker for today, but I guess he will introduce himself in a second. Next step is, during our invitation, we always mention that we would like to discuss your questions with the speakers, and at the same time, you will recognize your microphones are muted. And this is by purpose. So I kindly invite you to ask your questions, send me your feedback, or maybe your concerns using the chat box in the bottom. So I will be available in the background and will try to answer your questions in between, but also take your questions and discuss them together with the speakers at the end of today's session. Next thing is that, yes, we have also a second speaker, Michael Kral, but we will meet him a little later. So we will start with Yannick, later on Michael Kral, and we probably guess a 30-35 minutes of presentation, and the Q&A will then be at the end of today's session. Yeah, I guess this was the most important. If from your point of view, any questions are left, as mentioned, write them in the chat. And then I guess it's time to welcome our first speaker. Yannick, good to have you here. Thank you for coming in that improvised and quickly.
All right. Thank you, Michael, for the nice introduction. And welcome everyone to this webinar, Digitalize Your Silo and Vessel Weighing Solutions with Connexx. My name is Yannick Salzmann. I'm product manager for load cells, and I substitute today my colleague Holger, who was short-term sick, as Michael just said. And I'm here with my colleague Michael Kral, who will introduce himself a little later. I will start with the agenda for today's webinar. And here I will start with an introduction of the digital weighing solution with Connexx. I will show how you will benefit from digitalization and how you can achieve these benefits. Further on, I will give a short overview about our current product portfolio with Connexx. Finally, I will hand over to Michael. He will show how easy the setup of a weighing system with Connexx is and how easy it detects errors. But let's start with the first chapter, how to save money with digital solutions. A standard feedback when we are discussing digital solution is something like, analog solutions are working since decades. We have no problems at all. So why should we change a more expensive digital solutions, which offers no real benefit? It doesn't matter if we are talking with customers, partner companies, or even our own sales colleagues. And let's face it, their statements are not completely wrong. Analog solutions are working since decades, but just because a solution is working, it doesn't mean that there's no space for improvement. Not every new technology or product is a complete breakthrough, and normally a lot of small steps are necessary and will follow. So I will give you two examples about ideas that changed our life with similar feedback in the beginning. The first one was back then in 1876 by William Preece, the chief engineer of the British Post Office. He said that the Americans maybe have need of a telephone, but we do not. We have plenty of messenger boys. The second statement would be from 1992 from the CEO of Intel. The idea of a personal communicator in every pocket is a pipe dream driven by greed. And how it ended, we know it all. I could hold this webinar today with this personal communication in my pocket. But let us come back to the industrial environment. For us, increased productivity is the main driver for all of our businesses, like faster processes, reduced use of materials, higher machine utilization, and shorter or planned downtimes. These are all aspects to save money. For us in the weighing industry, we have to consider all parts of the production lifecycle to find optimization potential for our customer from the planning until the daily operation. Digital solutions will offer in all aspects advantages to be faster and save money. It offers fast planning, fast installation and commissioning, higher system availability, limited downtimes, always ready to use, and in case of fast failure detection, it means fast service. I will explain in more detail who will benefit from a digital solution and how. At the first step, we have the planner of the production facility of the installation of the silo. In the first glance, he has to think about less parts. So we don't need cable junction boxes or external power supplies, which saves money and planning. And there are plenty of technical benefits as well. There are no mechanical changes, planning a silo with analog load cells or digital load cells with Connexx. There's a standard protocol can open. We have possible connection to third-party products, and it doesn't have to think about interference immunity, so cable length doesn't make any influence into the installation. The next person is a system installer. Here, the main benefit is a faster installation and commissioning. The load cell data is stored in the Connexx and always available. Here's a fast status on the status LED on the Connexx. There's a simple checking of the weight on the indicator, and the corner adjustment of the balance or the scale is without calibration of the resistors. The next person is the service manager. Here, the main benefits are faster and easier troubleshooting. With the Connexx, you have clear text messages of the indicator displayed for each error. The weight data is individually visible for each load cell. We have an integrated overload counter. As I mentioned before, the load cell data is stored in the Connexx, and there's no need to re-enter when a load cell is replaced. The last person I would like to mention is in the end the plant manager in daily life, who has a higher system availability. The weight data is always visible individually on the indicator, which is a permanent observation possibility. Again, we have clear text messages in case of an error, or if he needs fast and detailed information. You can switch off a load cell electronically when a load cell is defect and still keep going on. We have no interference immunity, which could influence the weighing result, and the upgrade from analog to digital is possible without any mechanical changes. So all of these small aspects at every step of the production lifecycle helps to save money. With the information, we could or you could start to make a TCO, a total cost of ownership evaluation. Based on these results, you can decide by yourself if it's worth to invest already in the future technology. But let's continue. Which products do we offer to start with the digitalization of weighing? After explaining the benefits of a digital weighing solution with Connexx, I will present now the portfolio as just mentioned. In general, we offer most of our standard analog load cells with the digital converter Connexx. Let's start with the truck scale solution. We offer our PR6221. Here we support applications up to 12 load cells in one daisy chain connection. Compared to other applications for more than 4 load cells, a small standard power supply is required when you use the X3 indicator. This would be around 50 euros more for your application. I'm sorry. Let's continue with the silo and vessel weighing. For all standard applications, we have compression type load cells like the Inteco, the PR6211, the PR6212, and the S-type PR6241 which you can all see in the center of the slide. A special solution for the food and pharmaceutical industry is on the right. It's our new weighing module, Novego, which is now as well available with Connexx. We just had 2 webinars about Novego and hygienic solutions in the food and pharmaceutical industry. So if you're interested, just comment or write us. We could supply with further information. Here you have a short overview about all load cells we have with Connexx and the capacities and accuracy classes. I will not go into detail, but just mention that we have really solutions, digital solutions for all applications from 30 kilogram with the PR6211 up to 75 tons. As well, most of the accuracy classes starting from D1 up to high precision accuracy of C6. Of course, we have all the metrological approvals for our load cells, for the Connexx module, and as well for the X3 indicator. That was my first part. I will show up a little later again, and now I would like to hand over to my colleague Michael, who will show a bit more practical base the setup of the system.
So hello, thank you very much, Yannick, for the introduction. I'm Marco Kral, Application and Training Specialist for Tech and Hopper and Industrial Scales at MediaVia Intec. And I would like to show you some practical examples with our testing platform, which was recorded with our testing platform, to see how easy and comfortable the complete setting procedure and adjustment, also some detecting of error can be. Here you can see our testing platform in real. We have 4 PR6241 S-type load cells connected with 4 Connexx modules and connected with our X3 indicator. In this case, we can connect all these 4 load cells without additional power supply. In this case, the power supply is provided from the indicator directly. If we have more than 4 load cells, we will need additional power supply, which will be connected directly to the X3 indicator. All these procedures can be done using VNC viewer connected, running on the connected PC or laptop, which is connected directly to the X3 indicator. By the way, this VNC viewer is actually freeware. You can download this for free from internet. We have also another version, one older version you can get from us directly. But this freeware VNC viewer has some benefits and can be operated very easily. We will start with the first step. We connected the load cells already. The hardware has been connected. And we will start with a searching and assignment procedure. Afterward, configuration, adjustment of the load cells, cone road adjustment, all these initial procedure for the installation. Now I will try to start the first video. We'll see if I'm able to manage. We recorded these videos to make it a little bit faster and easier to show you everything. You see now we start the VNC viewer and enter in the upper line the IP address. This is the currently entered IP address from the X3 indicator. Please don't forget to enter the :1 at the end. It is always the same system. The same IP address, :1 at the end, and after confirmation, we are connected and we can see the virtual screen, the virtual operating surface. Using the setup key, We open the setup menu, and now we select the weighing point. And at the moment, we have no sense voltage. In this case, the internal AD converter is selected. This is the default setting. Of course, we have no analog platform connected. Now we selected the Connexx module, the Connexx load cells, and you can see there is still no weight value. The first step will be to start the assign procedure. We open it, and now we operate the search function, the search subtree. Confirm and continue. And you see the real recording, the real-time recording, how fast this searching procedure, assignment procedure is running. It's really only a couple of seconds. And now all 4 load cells have been recognized, and we can see the default names and the serial numbers. Still no weight value, but normally there is a couple of seconds you need. Now it should be there. Sometimes it is working, I can do it at the time. Now there is the weight value. This is actually normal. The electronic needs to process this procedure, and now we have the weight value. We started the configuration, and the first step is all load cells are indicated. The local gravity, the standard setting, default setting is for Hamburg. You can modify. We enter the maximum capacity. Please don't forget to enter also the decimal places. We confirm. Now the display interval, what is the smallest digits we can see, and this can be selected from the list we can, which is available. We let the same value. Now the dead load, which is actually the 0 point, we simply confirm by load. And the cal weight is actually the adjustment, the span adjustment procedure. Here we can freely select the adjustment weight value. Either select the value first or replace the weight value on the weighing platform and enter the value for this test weight. Now we can recognize the weight value has been placed or positioned on the weighing platform, and we confirm with OK, and the span adjustment has been completed. The last step, which is unique for digital load cells, is the corner load adjustment. We can select one value, but even if you are using another test weight afterward or another load, it doesn't matter, because we simply compare the values for all corners, and there is also no selection required. We simply position, excuse me, position the load or the test weights on the corner. This highlighting, this bar, we can see which is moving or changing will be recognized automatically. The load cell which has been loaded is highlighted, and we simply confirm with OK. And in the check mark on the right hand column, we can recognize the value has been stored. Now we finished with the first, with the fourth one, with the last one, and the last step will be to use the calculation. This is the soft key on the left hand, in the left hand corner, and now the corner load adjustment has been completed. So you see it is extremely easy and comfortable to do the corner load adjustment if it is required. Now, if we leave the setup menu, the configuration adjustment, we are using the exit button, and the question or this remark is prompted, would you like to save the changes or the adjustment? Of course, we confirm with yes, and the configuration adjustment has been completed. Now, you see this very fast procedure, very comfortable procedure, even for large weight bridges or large load cells, large scales. This was the first video. The second, excuse me. The second part is our commissioning are the parameters. I will only describe or name these parameters because they are actually identical or almost identical, except with exception of one or two items with the well-known parameters for analog load cells. You can select some filters, weight and measures for legal for trade application, standstill time and range, zero range and steps can be also selected. Overload, select the different ranges, if it is single range, multi-range, multi-interval, and so on. Very interesting function is the service function. This is again unique for digital load cells, for digital solutions. And in this case, we have different possibilities. One of them was also mentioned by Yannick. We can deactivate one load cell, one defective load cell, and are still able to continue to use the scale. We can also rename or reassign the load cells, the sequence of the positions, if it is interesting or necessary. And we have also info function for about the load cell itself, some specification or some settings, and also about the load, which is position of the load cell, always the load distributions. The service function will be now part of the second video. We are again in the setup menu now, and we can see in the bottom line the right-hand soft key, the service. We apply this key, and we see the list of our 4 load cells. All load cells are activated. We can recognize in the check marks or the right-hand column. All of them are activated, and we can also see the current values, weight values. Now we can select one load cell and confirm with OK button, and now the load cell has been deactivated. This is also written in the line, and the check mark, the symbol, the check mark is or the check mark in the field disappeared. We can see the warning symbol behind the weight value, and the weight unit disappeared as well. This is actually a warning. We are using or working with limited accuracy at the moment, and this application is not allowed for legal for trade, for example, but we are still able to use the scale. This is also a big benefit because you know if one load cell, one analog load cell is defective, then you are not able to use the scale at all. You will have only error message in the display. Now we went back and activated the load cell again, and the warning symbol disappeared, and the weight unit is again in the display, and we can continue with the standard operation of the scale is full functional with full accuracy. The next function is there are some additional functions under the view soft key, which can be activated under view, and the first one would be the info function. You see on the bottom line, the left-hand soft key. If we open this, this is the specification or the specific values for the one load cell. And we see the model name, software version, serial number, all these specifications, the maximum capacity, which is actually the nominal load, the readability or the resolution for legal for trade application, verifiable resolution, Y and Z values. The overload in this case is the specified safe overload. And what is also very important or interesting, the overload counter, we could recognize how often this overload has been applied. And we can also see a recording of maximum weight of the load cell with date and time. This will be recorded and can be also recognized later. If there are some problems, then you can say to the customer, yeah, we can recognize the reason because the load cell or one corner has been overloaded. Now we open the same for another load cell. So I told you each load cell is actually one separate device. Now, this is very useful function, and we are specific or unique only for digital load cells. Something like this is not available for analog load cells. Some another function we can rename or assign another name for the load cell if it is interesting. This LSD1 is the default name, which is assigned automatically, and we could put another names. And now we open the view function again, and we see the sequence C1, C2, and so on. This is the sequence which is established automatically after the search procedure, and we could also change the sequence, but now we have the warning. In this case, the corner load adjustment will be deactivated or no more valid if you do this reassignment or replacement actually. Very important part, error detecting. It is error detecting or also information, or general information about the load cell, about the current performance. We have info function available for additional information. This info function is accessible directly from the weighing mode. It is not necessary to enter the setup mode, but we can only use the info key and activate the info function. So this is our last video. Now we are in the weighing mode directly, and we apply the info key, which is directly beside of the display. Select the information about show Connexx data, information about the Connexx load cells. Confirm. And here we can see the live weight values in these bars, in these fields. The green fields are actually the dead load, the current load, the dead load, and we can see or compare also the load distribution in this case. The larger fields in the middle, which is empty at the moment, will be the maximum capacity of the load cell. Now we loaded the scale and we see these green bars extend. and we can compare the load distribution very nicely. The smaller fields of the in the right side or the red or the right margin are actually the safe overload. We can also recognize if these green fields turn red. It is not a necessary indication for some error, but the dead load, which has been adjusted, has changed, and we can recognize it is different than after the initial adjustment or after the last adjustment. And what is also available here, we can activate the info function. The info function is very similar to the one which I showed you in the setup menu. But here in the list, we can see also the max weight value. This is the maximum weight value which was applied on the load cell. In this case, of course, there is some old value recorded. This will be, of course, not realistic. We have a 15 kilogram load cell and 10 ton weight value, but in this case, it is a realistic value. This is the real value. The load cell has been loaded maximum with 4 kilograms. So this was all to the service function. And I would like to ask Yannick to complete our presentation. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Michael. And yeah, just as mentioned, before we start with the question and answer session, I will make a short summary. So this Connexx module we just presented offers benefits for the planner with a faster planning, fast commissioning, and no changes compared to analog solutions. It benefits the system installer with an easy installing and a lot of support functions. As well, it offers benefits for the service manager with a fast error detection you just have seen and an easy fixing of these errors. And as well in daily operation for the plant manager with a high system availability and a transparent status at any time. So let me finish again with a comment about the crazy thing telephone and close the story of the beginning of the webinar. In 1876, the president of the Western Union, William Orton, said, "This so-called telephone has no," sorry, I have to read it, "has too many shortcomings to be seriously considered as a means of communication." And yeah, we know how it ended. The so-called telephone is developed further and further, and now we cannot live without our smartphone. And now you're welcome to ask your questions, maybe not about telephones, but preferable about the Connexx solution and digitalization of weighing solutions. So thank you for your attention, and we hope to see you at our next webinar again. And now I would like to hand over to Michael. Are you still muted, Michael? Michael? I can't hear you. There's no sound. Now there's sound.
Now you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry for the inconvenience. I hope the microphone works as good as the first one. So as I just mentioned, the webinars we have in the morning usually do not have so many questions as the one in the afternoon, but still I have questions for you both. Yannick, before we start, can you maybe close the presentation we have in front of us? Or put it back in presentation mode? So one of the discussions which came up in the chat is basically how does Connexx work in combination with the load cell? So the questions I got were like leading to the view that Connexx is individual and can be taken with no combination to a load cell. And if I remember well, Yannick, the combination of load cell and Connexx is always one unit. Is this correct? Can you give us more details on this?
Yeah, so sound quality is not the best, but I think I understood it. Yes, so we have one load cell connected to one Connexx. And if you have an application with 4 load cells, you need 4 load cells connected with each one Connexx, so 4 connect in the end. So that leads in the end as well that you have the possibility to have the individual data for each load cell stored in every Connexx, and which you can see in the indicator.
Thank you very much, Johnny.
Yeah.
I tried to use my first microphone. Can you just confirm it's working?
Yeah, now the sound quality is perfect.
Okay, perfect. So so basically the next question which came up and which is slightly combined with the first one is about the RTEX certification. So can you have the Connexx RTEX certified, and what do you need to consider that basically load cell and Connexx are always one unit in this certification procedure?
Yeah, unfortunately, the Connexx has no ATEX approval, so you cannot use it in ATEX zones. Therefore, you would need the load cell itself. For truck scales, we have the Pendeo load cells, which you can use for ATEX zones, but unfortunately not the Connexx module.
Okay, clear on this. Thank you very much. One discussion which came up is basically referring to Michael's product presentation. So the question basically was asking, can I use Connexx to only have one load cell in a 4-corner system? And I guess that basically it was a bit misunderstood what Michael meant with proceeding the weighing process with one broken load cell, for example. Maybe we can have a summary on this. So can I use one load cell in a 4-corner system instead of 4?
Do you mean only one load cell for a weight instrument?
Yes, correct. So basically a silo, 4 load cell corners, but what is if I only have one load cell instead?
Yeah, you can do it. This would be probably the installation or application with pivots, and you can use pivots instead of load cell, and this will be, for example, for 3 legs. You can have 2 pivots and 1 load cell. It could be also possible.
What consequences does it have for the accuracy in the weighing process?
Using the pivots instead of load cell is always lower accuracy, of course, because you have 2 or even more partially fixed points. It is not really indication of the load as a normal load cell. It is mostly only for reason to make the installation with lower price, cheaper, and in this case it is used, but of course the accuracy is lower. It is always better to use load cells for all supporting points.
Yeah. So would you say when you have an already installed 4-corner system, the best, even with Connexx, is to take 4 load cells and 4 Connexx as a solution?
Exactly. That would be the best.
Thank you very much, Michael. You have shown in the presentation the CAN Open protocol, and one thing which is not clear is about what is the maximum length between the last Connexx load cell and, for example, the X3 indicator.
I will have to check it in the specification. I think it is about 200 meters.
I'll be honest with you, Michael. I checked in parallel, and yes, it's 200 meters exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. One more thing which came up is basically the discussion: can I upgrade my previously installed load cells to Connexx, and what do I have to consider for this? And currently this would be our last questions for our today's webinar, Michael.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's a very good question. We can do it, of course. The only small problem, you have to remove the load cell and send to Hamburg to the production. And we can upgrade the load cells with Connexx and record the data and the adjustment, everything, because the load cell with Connexx are pre-adjusted. They are actually finished with the maximum capacity readability. The accuracy is already there. And we just send it back and you have to install or reinstall it again. But it is possible even for older load cells. And as far as I know, there are no limitation regarding the models.
Thank you very much, Michael. One last question just came in. Let's answer this question before we say goodbye. What is the maximum amount of load cells I can combine in a Connexx daisy chain?
12 load cells is the maximum. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And this was the last question, Michael, I got from the audience. Thank you very much to you, Michael. Thank you very much to you also, Yannick, for joining in this quickly this morning.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Also, thank you very much to our audience joining us this early in the morning. And I would say if you are having more questions, maybe coming up after the event, feel free to contact us directly. Contact Michael or Yannick or contact me using the Academy email address, which is simple, academy@minibea-intech.com. And we would appreciate to see you again on our next webinar session. Check for those events on the homepage. Just go on Minibea Intech, the webinar section, and you will find our future events, but also the recordings from the events in the past. So thank you very much to you guys and have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.